Heroclix Design Update coming right up. Mr. Clicks Flicks is brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if you're in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has the winning role for all your gaming needs. You can visit them at luckydicecafe.com or on their Facebook page using the link found in the description of this video. Mr. Clicks Flicks is also brought to you by trollandtoad.com, one of the largest online gaming retailers. Use the promo code Mr. Clicks Flicks for 5% off your HeroClix order today. Alright guys, so today we're taking a look at Wizkids Design Insight update for October 2019. So these come out every so often. What it is Wizkids basically gives us an update on a rule that they're thinking about changing or a rule that they are going to change. So this one has to do with the dials on your HeroClix and on the back of the cards. So if you've gotten any new HeroClix set, you have your card, and then on the back you have the dial for your character. Those didn't always used to be there. It used to be that there would be, you know, the powers would be listed on the front. They might bleed over into the back. There'd be some kind of little flavor text that might tell you about the HeroClix itself, and this part where it gives like significant appearances, that part would be bigger, and that'd take up basically the whole back of the card. And what they did in 2016 is they said, well, we want to put the dial on the card so that new players can know what's coming up on their dial without having to memorize the dials, because it used to be nobody knew for sure what was going on in your dial. Now, some of us, myself and competitive players, you would memorize particular dials that kept coming up so that you could plan accordingly for that, but that's not the bulk of players don't do that, and that's what WizKids was trying to get across with this, is that new players and the bulk of players don't really do that, so putting them on the card made a lot of sense to them. Now, at first they were going to be on the front, and there was a uproar that I at the time believed was unfounded, and so did some other people, but it was loud enough to where they compromised, put it on the back so that just you could see it basically if it was on your team, and your opponent was not allowed to flip your card over. So if you handed your card to your opponent, they weren't allowed, they could look at the front, they were not allowed to flip it over. If they did, supposedly the consequence was an auto DQ or a warning or something like that. So that has been what's been going on since 2016. All sets since 2016 have had this character design, this card design. Okay, so what they did now is, with this recent Design Insight update, is they revisited that. And what they decided is, I don't believe they're going to start putting the dials on the front of the card. I think they're going to stay on the back. But what they're doing is they're anticipating a large influx of players due to the WWE set, which makes a lot of sense. And I'll have the link to this webpage for you in the pinned comment, so that you can click on that and look at this if you want to. But anyway, I'm not going to read it verbatim. But anyway, basically what it says is that from now on, so starting November 6th, so in time for ROC states. So I think this is going to be an interesting change for competitive play. It's 2 weeks after the North American launch of WWE. HeroClix tournament rules section about character cards with visible dials will be amended to say the following. Character cards with visible dials. A player may ask to view another player's card at any time. Players should not spend an excess amount of time viewing the character cards. So that was a big thing, is people said that there'd be a stall tactic where you just keep asking to see your opponent's cards. That's possible, but I think, quite frankly, unlikely, and it would be easy to pick up on. You know, and especially depending on the tournament, if you're like at a high level, like an ROC state or nationals or worlds, you know, nobody's going to need to see your card every single turn. You know, they might need to see it at a couple crucial moments, and as you play, you end up learning what you can almost feel when those crucial moments are, to where you need to divide your perplexes up and, like, well, I'm trying to get the knockout. Do I need to dump it into damage, or can I afford to put it into attack to make sure that the attack hits? You know, things like that. People worry about stall tactics. They were worried about perfect play, and this, you know, to where, you know, you could even perplex down, let's say, your own damage value if, for some reason, you know, the heroclix dial had a sort of like a depowered click. Like for some reason, Hulk turned back into Banner for one click, and then after you get him off that click, he turns into Hulk again. People were worried that you were going to count those clicks off. You were going to perplex your damage down 1, 2, 3, whatever it took to get to that, so that you could get to the part of the dial with terrible stats, and then, you know, just whack them the next turn to get them totally off that, so that to KO them, so that they don't have a real recourse for that. Now, again, that's something that could and probably will happen. However, I feel that if you're in a position where your opponent's able to do that much to you, you probably already messed up several stages of the game, including character placement and things like that. So I think while this is a change, and it eliminates, some people have been complaining that it eliminates that surprise mechanic at basically non-competitive things. I think that's true for veteran players. However, for new players, nobody wants a surprise that, hey, I knocked you onto your god click, so that, you know, basically I lost myself the game. Nobody wants to do that. It's not fun. I don't feel that it turns as many players off as Wizkids said, or made it sound in this, but it does turn some people off. So I can see where they're coming from. If you're a veteran player at all, you probably know, or at least can guesstimate based off of experience, based on points, how many clicks a character has. So, you know, you already kind of knew the information. If you looked at the cards, the stuff almost always shows up in the order that it appears here, with the exception of white powers. Those always show up first, followed by these. But if they have no white power, they always show up in the order that they're on there. So you were able to surmise at least what powers they would have after the one that they were on. So it's, you know, you were sort of able to have some of the dial information to begin with. It's just whether or not you knew that trick. So now you'll be able to get the card, you'll be able to look at the back, you'll be able to know, hey, I got to deal this character 16 clicks if they're playing her at 225 to get through it. You know what clicks you want to stop on. You don't want to like let her stop on hypersonic, so maybe you don't want to deal 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't want to deal 4 clicks. You just want to deal 3 clicks of damage. So you perplex your attack up 1, so it's your sure to hit. Okay, so that's the type of thing that's going to happen. I think it's a good change for new players. I don't think competitively it will really affect anybody as far as meta. You already knew the dials. If you were worth your salt at all, okay, I'm an okay competitive player on a good day. And, you know, like I can finish top half of field. It's not really that big of a problem. I can occasionally beat a top tier player once in a while, but I'm not all the time lock in that top tier. Now I'm working on it, but just trying to be honest with you guys. So that's the level that I'm at, and I have most of the dials memorized that show up in competitive play. So anybody that's super good or even okay in competitive already had these dials memorized. So all that does is it makes it so that more people can maybe compete on that level. And if they're at the point where they didn't memorize those dials, they're not going to magically just get good at character placement or team synergy or anything like that when they're constructing their team or placing it on the board. So you're still going to have advantages having experience over these players. It's not, you're not losing really that much of an advantage over these guys. So overall, I think it's a good change. I think Wizkids is onto something with this. I do understand the outrage over the possible stalling tactic. I think it'll be easy enough to pick up. I, for a long time, though, have felt that there needs to be some kind of like chess clock type thing for people's turns. Yes, it would penalize people with large teams, but I would rather do that than let somebody stall out an entire game. So you guys let me know in the comments below what you feel about this change. Good or bad, you don't have to agree with me. That's fine. We'll have that discussion. But again, the link to this article on Wizkids will be in the pinned comment. So that's all I have for you guys today. As always, please remember that it's only critical miss if you don't have probability control.